Fun fact, pigs are actually as smart as dogs, so that's really sad.
You know all the vegan talking
Yeah, I know.
Actually.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite superhero?
I like Catwoman in the new Batman movie. She's really hot.
So you like her, and you like her because she's hot.
Yes. Women's History Month.
Now, what usually separates the difference between a normal person and a superhero?
I would say probably the presence of some sort of powers that the average person does not possess, or just a lot of money if you're Batman.
There you go, or a ton of money. That's a power in itself, I think.
Yeah.
That could also describe a supervillain, though. A supervillain has more power than the average person. So what distinguishes a supervillain from a superhero?
I feel like their goals, what they're ultimately working towards, I feel like the supervillain probably has more malintended actions, whereas the superhero wants to help the average person.
So I'm hearing that sort of the superhero wants to help the individuals who have less power, whereas the supervillain is maybe not interested in helping them. So here's a, I think, hopefully simple question. You got 2 buttons, right? Press button 1, 10 real-life supervillains are on Earth now.
Okay.
Press button 2, 10 real-life superheroes come onto Earth right now. It's not a trick question.
Yeah, I feel like the superheroes, I feel like I'll get canceled if I say the villains.
You think if the villains were here, you would have a higher chance of getting exploited or hurt?
I would say probably. I'm a pretty average gal, I'd like to say. I don't think I really have anything they'd want to take or exploit. So I don't think I would personally be targeted, but I might be some collateral damage.
They don't consider you a high value target,
Yeah.
but you might get, okay. So second set of questions. What did you have for breakfast and lunch today?
I did in fact wake up at noon, so I did not have breakfast. And then
To be young again.
for lunch, I had a handful of Doritos and half of a microwave popcorn bag.
Do you eat any animal derived products?
I do. Big chicken gal, I'd like to say. Fish, big sushi girl. Pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything, but
Yeah.
sushi and chicken are kind of
Yeah.
on the top there. Would you say our relationship to animals, do we have power, or are we more powerful than chickens and fish? Do we have power over them?
Absolutely. I think we absolutely, I mean, if you look at the industrial agricultural system in the United States, I think it's very, very obvious that we have power over animals. I don't necessarily think that means that we are inherently better than animals. I just think because of the way our brains work and because of the way that we've evolved, that we do have reached that point in evolution where we have power over them.
Do you think in general we are exercising that power in a way that seeks to protect and help them? Is it more akin to the superhero, or is it more akin to the supervillain who has some auxiliary goal and then their collateral damage of that goal?
Oh, absolutely. The supervillain, very much so. If you look at the way we pump chickens full of antibiotics so that they grow faster and they give us more nutrients without taking heed to this is an actual living and breathing human thing that we're exploiting and taking advantage of. So I think very much it aligns with that supervillain narrative.
Would you rather be a superhero or a supervillain? Because earlier you said you would like to put more superheroes into the world, not more supervillains.
Yeah, I would say superhero. I'd like to think I'd be a solid superhero.
Do you think there's anything you could do to align your behaviors more with that superhero ethos that you would like to project?
Oh, absolutely. We were talking about before all of this, I want to study human rights so I can go on and become an immigration attorney, because I think the way that immigrants are treated in the United States is pretty atrocious. So yeah, I think being a superhero, it's definitely difficult because I'm just one person in front of a huge government and multi-million-dollar corporations. But I think just individual actions is super important, and just saying what can I do when I wake up to make the world a better place.
That's awesome. Yeah, I often hear from people, especially people in college, I increasingly hear that their individual change doesn't matter, and I'm kind of disheartened by that.
Oh,
to hear
yeah,
that.
No.
So then I guess if you think individual change matters, and you're sort of purchasing chickens, fish, and we're knowing that they're being exploited and killed and harmed, I guess what would be stopping you from ceasing to purchase those things and harm those individuals?
Yeah, I think I really appreciate this moment of accountability, actually. I would probably say habit and convenience at the end of the day, but I definitely think that there's more that I can do, and I sort of don't, because it would just take that extra effort that I feel like I am putting in other places that maybe I shouldn't be.
Maybe I can kind of tell you about some resources then.
Sure.
The first thing I'll tell you is that I thought it was going to be really inconvenient. So there were basically 2 things that were stopping me that are totally terrible reasons now. I'm embarrassed of them. One was convenience, and the other was just vanity. I was I can't get enough protein protein. And so like when I work out, I'm like that was like literally one of my reasons.
No.
Yeah. And so I thought those two things, I thought it was going to be difficult to do that. And it really isn't. It's much simpler than people think. Yeah, I would say there was two things. One is Challenge 22. It's essentially a website. You give them your email. They email you like a package of like how to go vegan. They tell you about the ethics, the environmental impact.
But what is the price point of that?
Oh, it's free. It's all free. Yep, totally free. Cheap Lazy Vegan is another really good YouTube channel. But if you just search like cheap, easy vegan food, it's an endless sort of stream.
Yeah. I didn't when I was in high school. I didn't have a lot of vegetarian friends, but I do here. But yeah, I definitely have been thinking about it more now that I've been in college and more people are practicing it, because I feel like it would be easier, like a moment of solidarity, you know? So it's definitely been on my mind.
So do you know anything about what happens to cows in the dairy industry?
Oh yeah, I have watched a mini documentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you know the horrors that entails. Okay, well great. Then the only other thing I guess I would ask is, would you be willing to like watch a brief 30 seconds of footage of what happens to pig in the industry?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. Well, you're now on the payroll. Hold that for me.
Okay, cool. Fun fact, pigs are actually as smart as dogs, so that's really sad.
Oh, see, look, you know all the vegan talking.
Yeah, I know.
Actually.
Yeah.
This is them cutting off pigs' tails and teeth.
Yeah.
They just have to shock the pigs because they won't walk in a single file.
Oh, that's shocking.
Yeah, it's
wow.
So 80 to 90% of pigs are actually killed in gas chambers.
We gas the pigs? They gas the pigs. And it's not like a peaceful death either.
Yeah, that sounds like a real
That's horrifying.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know, it's god awful. It's god awful.
It's really bad.
If you could be living a life where you hurt humans, hurt animals, or hurt neither, which sort of life would you like to be living?
I would prefer to hurt neither. Yes, that would be my answer.
That choice is available to you right now.
Period. Period.
So if you enjoyed this video and want to help me make this my full-time career, check out my Patreon in the description. And a special shout out to my top tier patrons, Ryan O'Neill and Tom Eisenbeiss.